One father is still fighting for the release of his son, January 6th prisoner Jake Lang. Ned Lang is joining us now on National Report. Ned, your son Jake pleaded not guilty to charges that he assaulted police with a shield and a bat during the Capitol riot. Can you tell us exactly what he's accused of doing?
My son's accused of battling with the police. He was outside the Western Tunnel. My son went there as a peaceful protester, as did millions of other Americans on that fateful day. And he was peacefully protesting, and there was 1 million people on those steps that day, or more. And they were enticed in. They were fist pumped by the police. We made a documentary. I wrote the script and hired some wonderful folks. We got a lot of footage in the video and the documentary that's never been seen before. And in that documentary, we show how these folks, they came up there to peacefully protest, just like they did back in the 60s and the 70s and so forth. And now, when they were there, they were enticed. There was 1 million people there. They were fist pumped. In our documentary, you can see how the Capitol Police opened up the Capitol doors. They were magnetically shut. I understand that it takes 2 or 3 tons to open them. And they were fist pumping these folks. They came in there peacefully for the most part. And when they were all assembled there, in our documentary, we show that all of a sudden, the police decided to use lethal force against a peaceful protest, a bunch of Americans up there, and all the egregious activities that the Congress has done against their president, President Trump. And all of a sudden, they were attacked. So they were enticed, and then they were attacked. When they were trapped, and then they were attacked. And they couldn't just leave. They were all there together, 1 million. You just can't run away. And my son was there peacefully protesting. And when the police started pushing those people over one on top of each other outside the Western Tunnel, Roseanne Boylan died in my son's arms that day. And Philip Anderson was laying next to him, and my son managed to drag him out of that pile and pull him away to safety. And then Tommy Tatum also credits his life to my son's activities that day to save him. And all those folks were there peacefully protesting until they teased the police brutally and attacked these peaceful protesters using lethal force. The flash grenades, Patriot Black had his jaw shut off with the rubber bullets. Those flash bang grenades that go into the crowd. I mean, this is lethal force. There was women, children, and any American, anybody that saw that took place, that saw Americans being harmed by the police or anybody else, you would do it, I would do it, I would be defending them. And that's what my son did that day. And he was holding off the police, trying to defend the lives of those innocent civilians that were there peacefully protesting to start with.
I wanted just to get to this point here, still dozens imprisoned, as you know, and a lot of those say, or their family members are saying, that they are being held without due process. That's what I wanted to ask you. Aside from charges against your son or what he would be facing, do you believe that your son has received due process? Why or why not?
Okay, so my son's been arrested almost 2 years now. He is in his 11th jail, 11th prison. Every time they move him from one prison to another, they have to quarantine for 10 to 14 days. It's absolutely impossible for my son to develop a legal strategy, a legal defense, when he's being moved constantly. His attorneys don't know where he is, where he's being moved to. Once you get moved to another prison, then there's a whole set of new rules that you have to abide by. Then you have to set up communication. It's impossible. The U.S. government has every asset at its fingertips to prosecute these folks. And they know it's like shooting fish in a barrel, because they're in Washington, D.C., where all the trials are being taken care of. And it's impossible to get a fair and unbiased jury in Washington, D.C., period, end of story. And we're seeing that. So, yes, there's no due process. My son, just like you or me or anybody else, I don't care which side of the political spectrum you're on, he was taken off the street and charged with these crimes. He has not been convicted of a crime. It's been 2 years now. I put up over $1 million in bail, and they said, no, you can't get bail. What's up with the bail reform? Antifa, BLM, all those folks seem to get all the bail or lack thereof, and just get released and have their charges dropped and have our vice president out there protesting for them.
That's one of the major points there. Ned Lang, out of time with you, but we appreciate you coming on again, sharing the story about Jake Lang there again in an update. We appreciate it, Ned. Thank you for your time.